Memphis getting together last Wednesday, night prior to the trade deadline. Mike Miller and Ryan Humphrey now in a Grizzlies uniform. And Kelly, they welcome in Drew Gooden and Gordon Garrity. A lot of people surprised that Jerry West traded away Gooden, the 4th overall selection, midway through his first season.
I think it's a trade that helps both teams. Obviously, UB Brown gets an opportunity to get a shooter in there in Mike Miller, and Orlando, no question, wanted to get some size, and I think they made out a little bit better. With Garrity, you get a guy that can replace Miller. He's a shooter, comes off screen, and with Drew Gooden, he's a guy that's a natural 4. Now you put him in the starting lineup as your 4, whereas Garrity now come off the bench. He's more of a 3 with an outside shooter. Gooden paid off big time in his first ball game, 22 and 11, so we shall see.
And Gordon Garrity also played well. Our officials tonight, Nolan Fine, Ronnie Nunn, and Bill Spooner. Jacques Vaughn and the Magic with the opening possession. Garrity feeding McGrady, turns and faces on Kenyon Martin. And you can bet those two will be going at it all afternoon long. Cross-court pass from McGrady, finding Vaughn from the outside.
Spacing there, you could see what McGrady does to a defense. He draws a lot of attention. Everyone collapses, getting ready to help. And if you keep your spacing, you're going to get looks on the outside as he gives it up to Vaughn.
Kerry Kittles driving inside, lost the handle momentarily, and comes up with it. Shot clock down to 5 seconds. Martin puts it on the floor, across the lane, switches to the right hand, and a charging foul called against Martin.
Now Kenyon, knowing the shot clock was going down, tried to take it to the basket. You're going to see DeClercq step in. He's above that line underneath the basket, takes the contact, good hit, and a good call.
Kmart picking up where he's left off the last 2 games. He's averaged 21 points and 9 rebounds over those 2 outings. Another whistle here against Orlando as
DeClercq over the top, and he has problems with what I like to call silly fouls. I mean, he's hustling, but you got to realize you're not in position to get a rebound. You got to stay in the ball game and not pick up those type of fouls, as he clearly went over the back of Collins.
Jason Kidd, rough outing in Washington on Friday night. Shot just 2 of 13, and he misfires on his first attempt this afternoon. Dangerous pass by McGrady, trying to find Gooden down low, and a lot of talk with McGrady upset with the fact that the Magic traded away Mike Miller, and he's warmed up very quickly to his new teammates.
Well, Mike Miller is best friend on the team, and they found out, actually, I guess they were at dinner together celebrating Mike Miller's 23rd birthday, but sometimes that's how it works. They find out, it's a cold, hard truth, that this is a business sometimes.
Shot clock winds down to 5 seconds. Here is Garrity streaking down the lane, and Jason Collins is going to be whistled for the foul. As Garrity hacked to the act, he'll step to the free throw line.
Yeah, Gordon Garrity takes it to the hole. You see the foul. He's a strong player, got a good build. Again, defensively has ways to go, but he's a guy that comes off screens. He knocked down the first free throw. Good standstill shooter, and again, one of those guys not afraid to go to the basket. An excellent free throw shooter as well.
And Garrity, Kelly, not your typical NBA rookie. He's 26 years of age. He was drafted 41st overall by the Mavericks back in 1999, but this actually his first year playing for an NBA team.
Had an 83% free throw shooter, and he had 15 points in his first game along with 3 assists. So the 2 new guys were hyped up a little bit down in Orlando for their first game.
Ill-advised pass by Kittles, way over the head of Richard Jefferson, as the Nets turned it over for the 2nd time in the early going. Just over 90 seconds gone by. Orlando has it, leading New Jersey 4-0. McGrady guarded tightly here by Kidd. Puts it on the floor, double team momentarily. Now Gooden. He could put it on the floor as a power forward, but Gooden that time is called for an offensive foul, a little bit overly aggressive.
Well, tried to take the ball to the basket, and you're eventually going to run into the defense, and that's when you learn to pull up and not try to get all the way to the basket. Settle for the little 6 or 8 foot shot, and Gooden clearly ran over the defense there. Good call.
Kidd gets a Collins screen, cross court for Jefferson, working baseline, has it stripped and taken away by Garrity. Down to McGrady. Garrity thought about it, pulls up baseline, rims out. DeClercq offensive rebound. His shot partially blocked by Martin.
Great defense there, good help.
Martin goes cross court to Kittles. Jefferson, corner baseline jumper, and finally the Nets with their first bucket.
And after some poor turnovers, Nets finally connect with the extra pass going down to Jefferson.
Here's Vaughn. Back out for Garrity. Garrity may have gotten away with an extra step. Good and hammered inside by Collins, and that's the second early foul on Jason Collins. So decision time here for Byron Scott.
Now the Nets, some unforced turnovers last few times down, get a little cross-court pass, an extra pass from Kittles to Jefferson. Richard able to knock down the 12-foot jump shot. Down the other, then Collins, though, inside that line you see underneath the basket down here. He was inside that, get called for the block, and he'll have to come out of the game as Aaron Williams checks in the ball game, who, by the way, has played very well as of late.
Williams comes off a stellar outing on Friday night in Washington. He had 14 points in the loss against the Wizards to go along with 7 rebounds. As Drew Gooden goes 1 of 2 on that trip.
Gooden just a 69% free throw shooter on the year. Was 0-2 in that first ball game.
Jefferson looks for a teammate. Down low, trying to go to Williams, and his pass caroms off the backboard. Here's McGrady in the open floor, and he jams it through with both hands.
And a smart play by the Magic after another turnover by the Nets. Look up the floor, don't dribble it. It's quicker to pass it than to dribble up the floor. And of course, when you got McGrady at the end of that, Spiro, that's going to usually pay off.
And Kelly, the Nets sloppy with the basketball in the early going. 4 turnovers over their first 6 possessions of a ball game. Inauspicious start.
You see the timing not there as Jefferson trying to lob it inside. And as a result, the Magic on the move. Vaughn to McGrady running out. You get another look at it. And that's just a smart play. You never know what you got down the other end. That's why you keep your head up as a point guard. Look for that long pass. We know how well Jason Kidd does it. He's always looking for teammates up the floor. And McGrady, of course, one of those guys that you can pretty much count on, and he's going to finish that type of play.
Doc Rivers has simplified the Orlando offense with Gooden and Garrity aboard. Said they've gone to basketball 101 over the last few days. Tough when you got 2 new guys middle of a season, of course, well past the midway point of the year. Take a look at the turnover number.
Yeah. Well, you don't get the practice time, Spiro. That's the big thing. In the NBA, there's just not a lot of time to practice, particularly at the end of the year.
McGrady falling away over the outstretched arms of Kmart. And McGrady with his second field goal.
He and Kobe Bryant, 2 guys have an uncanny ability to hit off-balance shots, to fade away, leaning left or right, and still knock it down.
Aaron Williams' jumper rims out. So after the McGrady 3-pointer, Orlando with its largest lead at 8 points. It's 10-2.
Jefferson on McGrady.
Byron Scott trying to give McGrady some different looks, and it pays off there as T-Mac turns it over.
Yeah, he just lost it going to the hole, trying to get to the paint.
4 minutes gone by, opening quarter. Williams leaning inside. Pretty little flick in with the left hand off the glass.
A little soft spot in the zone played by Orlando that time down, and Aaron Williams able to get it in a good spot and finish.
Here's McGrady as they run Jefferson off a screen. Give T-Mac a little opening, he'll capitalize.
With that great leaping ability, even if it defended well, he'll jump over the top of that guy.
And T-Mac has that look in his eye. 3 of 3 to start, 7 points. Jason Kidd is able to answer with a 3-pointer.
Vaughn couldn't close down. Jason, a pretty good look from 3.
McGrady has scored Orlando's last 7 points. Here's DeClerc across the lane, lost the handle on it. And Jason Kidd finds the loose ball. That's to the open floor, down 5 points. It's 12-7. As we hit the 7-minute mark.
Oh, mismatch. Good night.
Jason Kidd up top for Kenyon Martin, who catches with one hand and jams it through.
Saw it developing as the Magic got caught in a lot of switches. Vaughn was on the smaller Martin, and Kidd finds him.
Oh, Tracy McGrady has the answer. He has yet to miss on 4 field goal attempts. 9 points for McGrady. And this crowd buzzing with the play of Tracy McGrady. A chance to see arguably the NBA's best player. Kittle's off the mark on a 3-pointer. Now Garrity brings it back.
But that's where Gooden's going to help them tremendously. On the boards, rebounding, a natural 4 in this league.
And here is Gooden putting it on the floor, but has his pocket picked. Here's Kidd, 3-on-1 break. Martin trailing, and he stuffs it down.
Is there anyone better? No one. in this league runs a break, particularly a 3-on-1, better than Jason Kidd. That was easy to find Martin, who powers it through.
Little stoppage here as the officials want to towel off the basketball. Electrifying plays on both ends of the floor. McGrady on fire to start. And a couple of thunderous dunks by Kenyon Martin. This Orlando team 2 games under the 500 mark, 27-29. Of course, they've been hurt by a lot of injuries. Grant Hill continues to nurse the ankle injuries. His future remains very uncertain as Garrity with a 3-ball.
Well, he's a shooter. We talked about it. Most European guys, it's the first thing they learn. Kittles did a pretty good job. Gave just a little bit too much room, and Garrity rises up and over the top.
They're trying to find Kenyon Martin there, but he was tied up with Gordon Garrity.
Just a notch above that 31 points per game. He's getting a lot of competition lately from Kobe Bryant out in Los Angeles, though.
Both of those players have been on magical runs. Shot clock down to 4 seconds. Kidd has to fire it up. Gooden lost the handle, and finally Jacques Vaughn comes up with it. Dangerous pass is tracked down by Andrew DeClercq. Bryant Scalabrine is checked in for the Nets.
They got a size advantage, though. DeClercq over Kidd, but doesn't take advantage of it, and the Nets will get the basketball back as it goes out of bounds off Orlando.
Nets may have gotten a break there. It would appear to go off the hand of Jason Kidd, but New Jersey able to take advantage as Kerry Kittles knocks it down from 3-point distance.
That was just a quick push, and Orlando did a poor job of picking up people. There's no excuse for not picking up people after the ball goes out of bounds. Kittles gets a free look.
First basket on the afternoon for Kittles. Here's DeClercq, right to the basket, puts it down, and a chance at 3 points for Andrew DeClercq.
Well, we know Tracy McGrady is unselfish as well. He's going to make a basketball play if he doesn't have a good shot. Off the screen and roll here, DeClercq just rolls right to the hoop. Scalabrine comes in, and look what I found is DeClercq able to kiss it off the window. And T-Mac is happy, and I'm sure so is Andrew DeClercq as he heads to the line to try to complete that 3-point play.
DeClercq using that frame and that left forearm to absorb the contact from Scalabrine.
Just 64% on the year, but he makes that one.
And after the free throw from DeClercq, Orlando's lead back up to 6 points, 20-14. 4.5 to play in this first quarter. Kittle short arms the outside jumper, and Garrity back for Orlando. Pat Garrity is now checked in for the Magic for the first time this afternoon.
Garrity's a shooter, a little difference in there with Gooden out of the lineup now.
Here's Garrity knifing through the defense, lays it up and in with the right hand.
Now you see the build. He's got a strong body and known as a shooter, but if you expand your game and you're able to get to the basket, boy, that opens things up. You start getting even better looks on the outside. Garrity's got to be a little bit more aggressive, just like he was there.
Here's Kidd. Passing to a cutting Kerry Kittles, who comes up a bit lame there, may have turned the ankle.
Gordon Garrity. Nice little move there. Goes by Kittles, gets around Williams, little flip. Able to connect.
Substitution now. Sean Kemp into the game. Andrew DeClercq sits down. So Kittles at the free throw line. Wednesday after the Nets and the Knicks game. Stick around for the premiere of Center Stage. Jeff Van Gundy on Yes. Van Gundy gives the inside scoop about his experience coaching the Knicks, plus his future coaching plans. Jeff Van Gundy takes Center Stage Wednesday at 10:30 right here on the Yes Network.
And misses 2. Kittles. Free throw shooting's been a problem for this team lately as well.
Nets now in an 8-point hole, 22-14, under 4 minutes to play in this first quarter.
Think Van Gundy's going to be back in the league next year?
Got to think he's going to end up somewhere.
I do too. I don't think that's going out on the limb.
He has that coaching bug. He's just one of those guys. Jim Rat is a head coach. Got to think he's going to end up someplace.
And I'm sure there's going to be probably a few openings to choose from.
I'm still surprised to see him as an analyst. Could never picture him in that role. Shot clock down to 5. McGrady pulls up and drains it. McGrady now 5 of 5, 11 points.
In a rhythm, continues. That's a great feeling to have, particularly off the game he had down in Orlando against Chicago.
Aaron Williams, a lot of contact. Eddie Jordan and the Nets bench pleading for a foul, but nothing doing.
You see Tracy McGrady, little head and shoulder ball fake as well. Gets Martin up in the air, a couple of dribbles, and just rises over the defense. That's just a shot that you get in your rhythm when you're shooting it and you're confident. It seems pretty easy for him.
Rebounding numbers favoring Orlando. Kidd up top again, and Martin able to sneak past the front line of Orlando.
And that's pretty easy for those two. Is Jason Kidd, no ball pressure on Kidd. If you allow him to pick apart the defense from that spot, he's going to burn you.
A leader inside by Sean Kemp in his 14th NBA season.
Well, he's a different physique than what we're used to seeing Sean Kemp, but you know what? He still can score.
Pretty pass, Aaron Williams to a cutting Jason Kidd backdoor. The Nets offense starting to pick up some steam now, but they can't stop Orlando. 26-18 Magic. Darrell Armstrong is checked in for Orlando now. Shot clock down to 10. McGrady working.
Stay on your feet.
And he's able to draw the defender up in the air. Tracy McGrady and Kobe Bryant have both been on just torrid streaks, and it brings up the question, who's better? And that's a tough comparison, but look at those gaudy numbers. 31 points for McGrady, 30 a game for Kobe Bryant.
Well, if you're scoring that much, your field goal percentage should be pretty good. You look at 46 and 45, and they play the other parts of the game as well. Pretty solid. Those two guys, you're right, they're on fire. A lot of fun to watch. They provided a lot of great memories over the last month or so, it seems like.
McGrady 12 points already this afternoon. And talking about Kobe Bryant, a lot of people make the argument that, well, if T-Mac played with Shaq, you know, he would put up even better numbers, but some of Kobe's best games have come with Shaquille not in the lineup.
But certainly nice to have the big fella to rely on.
No question.
Better team, you know, but that's part of the reason why they made that trade. McGrady makes 3 free throws there, as we were talking about before we went to break. Scalabrine got switched off on him and got up in the air and able to foul, or was, as he fouls McGrady for 3.
Jason Kidd pull-up jumper in the lane, off the mark. Kidd trying to save it, and back comes Orlando. Spiro Ditas, Kelly Tripucka from the Meadowlands. As Orlando now on a 12-4 run the last 2 minutes, 20 seconds. McGrady falling away, and he gets the friendly roll.
Well, now they try Lucius Harris on him. Right now, no one's having much success. Tracy McGrady having a fine afternoon.
6 for 6 from the field, 3 of 3 at the line. He has 16 points. Williams unable to bank it home.
Whoa, that's a foul, I think, going to be on Harris.
Harris trying to run through a Darrell Armstrong screen. It just ran him over.
And Tracy wants to tell Nolan Fine, the referee, that I made it as well. The last possession, McGrady over Harris, and here's a screen by Armstrong. You're going to see McGrady go up. He actually hit that shot, folks, and it won't count. But Armstrong will head to the line as he's just ran over by Lucius Harris.
It's over the foul limit, so Armstrong to the stripe, and he knocks down his first. Darrell Armstrong in his 9th season when undrafted by an NBA franchise.
Instant energy, though, Spiro. You see him play, he comes in, and everything just starts to happen. Getting a little bit older, less minutes, but an excellent free throw shooter, 86%, 34 years of age. He still gets it done, and had a big game down in Orlando the game after the All-Star break. I believe he had 20 points and really spearheaded, along with Tracy McGrady, that magic win.
Kidd has time, finds the seams, but misfires. Aaron Williams is there, weak side. Rebounds the carom and scores it off the glass.
They're going to see a lot of zones, and Kidd had a pretty good look. Just couldn't get his feet set. Aaron Williams bails him out, though, with the offensive board.
Here's Garrity in the open floor, outside to Garrity. Thought about it. Orlando patiently looking for a shot. McGrady had 3 defenders around him. Outside jumper from Garrity is off the mark. Jason Kidd tracks it down. Kidd, left-handed dribble across the lane, finds Harris, baseline jumper, it's good.
It's a tremendous pass there by Kidd. It's just a great feel, awareness of where his teammates are. Made the defense commit, and then able to dump it off to Lucius.
First bucket for Lucius Harris. Final 47 seconds of the first quarter. McGrady still hasn't missed. Short arms there, finally.
Well, he was just waiting for you to say something, right?
Right on cue. Here's Harris, wide open, a 3-pointer. And he rattles it home.
was a good look. 2-for-1 situation. Fortunately for the Nets, it was on the break. And a good look, worth taking that quickly in the shot clock, because it'll give them another possession after this one for Orlando.
Here's Armstrong. Three-pointer from Darrell Armstrong rings out. Scalabrine up ahead for Jason Kidd. Shot clock turned off. 15 seconds left in this first quarter. Nets deficit back down to single digits, down by 8 points. Down to 5 seconds. Kidd puts it on the floor, trying to dribble around Garrity along the baseline. And his pass intended for Harris knocked out of bounds. 2.9 seconds left.
The last two plays, Jason Kidd on the move once again, and then he dumps it off here at the last moment to find Harris.
Substitution now for defensive purposes. Gerald Sasser is inserted by Doc Rivers in Orlando.
Trying to zone it up.
Harris, pretty pass from Kenyon Martin.
Armstrong fell asleep.
That's inexcusable.
Really?
Harris had a clear path to the basket right around Darrell Armstrong. And he goes to that reverse play with the right hand.
Now Armstrong's over there. He realizes Harris is there, but he thinks he's going to stay there. And as soon as he turned his head, Lucius made a cut.
And Jason Kidd nearly coming up with a tremendous finish, but he misfires off the steal.
Big third quarter, though. Important. Nets have usually had some really big third quarters during the course of the year. I'm sure Doc Rivers has mentioned that to his team, that particularly the first 5 minutes of this quarter, very important for Orlando.
And Jason Kidd connects with Martin again. Another alley-oop.
Now, my first question is, how do you let that happen? I mean, that's tremendous play by Kidd. We've seen it often here this afternoon, but he just walked down the floor, threw up a pass, and Martin was unguarded.
Orlando starts this third quarter with Sean Kemp on the floor. Drew Gooden had 9 first-half points, way off the mark on that turnaround baby hook offering, and it will be Nets basketball.
You see Gooden fronting Martin. He's not even aware. The key was, you looked at his eyes, he never knew where the basketball was, and he got burned.
Martin again getting up. That time he was challenged by Gooden, and a late whistle by the backside referee, Bill Spooner. And a free throw situation now for Kenyon Martin.
All right, it's a lob fest. And Gooden consistently gets beat. Fouls Martin there. Kenyon will head to the line, and Doc Rivers trying to give some encouragement to his new player, Drew Gooden, and how to guard and protect against that.
I don't know if it keeps working, you keep going to it. And
Sure.
Jason Kidd and Martin continue to try to take advantage of Orlando's soft interior defense.
Well, to start with, it's tough to front in that sense, particularly in a zone, because now you're susceptible because they throw it over the top, as Jason's been able to. And you've got to get some ball pressure. That's the big key. They're allowing Kidd to sit back there and just pick them apart. That's going to be problems.
And Martin continues to excel. He has 21 points. 6 of his 8 field goals, Kelly, have come on dunk attempts.
There you go.
Kemp hands to Garrity. Good defense there by Kittles, getting a hand up. Vaughn between the legs. Shot clock down to 2 seconds. Gooden has to fire it up. Forces, and he's way short. Jason Kidd the rebound.
Now, McGrady never touched the ball in that sequence. That can't happen.
Good start to the third quarter. You can sense the Nets have a bounce in their step now. They're 25-3 on their home floor this season. That's the best home record in the NBA. Kenyon Martin leaning in, some contact, no call.
Yeah, Gooden did a good job of holding his ground. You're right, Kenyon did lean in.
McGrady double-teamed, and a foul called as Martin came over on the help defense.
Yeah, how did Collins get switched off on McGrady? He just rose up in front of him and got nicked on the way up. And that right there, it's a foul.
From three-point distance, so 3 foul shots for Tracy McGrady, and a technical foul has been called against Byron Scott. He is letting Nolan Fine hear about it. And Eddie Jordan quickly up off the bench trying to restrain Byron. Doesn't want him to get tossed here.
You saw the replay, Spiro, and he got the hand out. McGrady did a good thing. He started with his shot. Now there's contact on the way up because Collins' hand is touching his chest. It's a foul. I mean, that's the correct call.
So Tracy McGrady to the free throw line. His numbers 8 of 12 from the floor, 5 of 6 at the free throw line, 22 points. McGrady spins it in his hands. McGrady stands about a foot and a half beyond the free throw line.
He doesn't like that 15-foot shot. He'd rather stretch it to 16. There you get a look. Normally you have that toe right up against the line, but you know, whatever makes you comfortable, particularly if you're going to shoot him at a reasonably good percentage. Tracy McGrady, one of those guys that gets it done from the free throw line at nearly 80, just under 80%.
Here's Kittles, a 2-point field goal, barely nicks the front of the rim. Collins offensive rebound.
Out-hustled everyone for that one.
That's with the basketball down by 9 points. It's 63-54. Just under 2 minutes gone by, third quarter. And Kenyon Martin able to draw a foul inside. Talked about T-Mac lighting it up for Orlando, but how about Martin's numbers as Kemp is whistled for his second personal foul? Kenyon Martin, 21 points. We talk about our key matchup. McGrady and Martin, some strong numbers for both players.
Kenyon just getting quality shots right now. I mean, can't get much closer than what he's been able to get.
Kenyon converts on his first. Kenyon Martin, we've talked about his solid play the last 2 games, averaging 21 points and 9 rebounds. And he makes good on both of those free throw attempts. Brings the Nets to within 7 points. Now Martin comes out to guard T-Mac 23 feet away. Now Jefferson on the switch. Vaughn feeds Gooden in the lower post. Gooden across the lane. Changes his pivot foot, and that is bumped and fouled, and the crowd all over these officials now.
Well, the crowd doesn't know exactly what's going on as Gooden makes a move here. And Martin knew he fouled him as well. I mean, there was no argument from Kenyon whatsoever. Definitely got him across the forearm on the way up.
And that's the third personal foul on Kenyon Martin. It sends Gooden to the free throw line, and he makes good on his first attempt.
Well, he's a guy that can attack the rim, and it's an area where he's got to work on his free throw shooting. I mean, if you're going to get to the foul line, you do need to be making at least 75, 77%.
So Gooden hits on both free throws. He has 11 points, 11 free throw attempts in this game for Drew Gooden. Here's Martin. He scored 16 of the last 20 Nets points. And another foul as Orlando continues to have its problems guarding Kmart. Down around the basket. It's the third against Drew Gooden. Nets inbound now with 9:35 left to play, third quarter. Here's Kittles off a screen. Jumper rims out. Collins trying to track it down. And finally, Garrity comes up with him. Here's T-Mac off a Kemp screen. Collins picks him up on the switch. T-Mac pulls up, knocks down an elbow jumper.
Yeah, I'm sure he licks his chop when a center comes out to switch off on him defensively. T-Mac has it going still.
26 for McGrady. And the lead for Orlando back up to double digits. Jefferson pulls up over Garrity, short. And T-Mac tracks it down. His 6th rebound. Outside jumper from T-Mac, short.
He thought he made that one, though, didn't he?
He's been feeling it. A rare miss from McGrady. He's now 9 of 14. Here's Kidd off of Martin's screen. Dribbles into the wing. Shot clock down to 10 seconds. Left-handed dribble across the lane. Kidd switches hands. That one nearly falls through the hoop as Gooden came over on the help defense, called the bumping foul.
Well, he waited and waited, then he seized the moment here to skip through the lane. And look at the hang time there. Kid nearly trying to make something happen. A little reverse English, nearly got it off the board to go, but he'll settle for 2 at the line.
Introducing the official merchandise catalog of the New Jersey Nets. Choose from a large selection of game jerseys, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and more. To request a free catalog or to place an order, you can visit netscatalog.com, or you can call 1-800-338-4575. Jason Kidd has struggled from the field in this game, just 2 of 10. As he tries to find some rhythm at the free throw line. Makes good on both attempts. Kidd now with 7 points. He has 10 assists in this game to go along with 5 rebounds. Kittles gets a hand on it. Jefferson up ahead for Kidd. And the next playmaker finishes.
Well, pressure got to him. They created a turnover off of pressure, and Garrity did the wrong thing by putting the ball on the floor.
Here's Garrity trying to answer. And Gordon Garrity getting inside.
That's one thing you do. When you see pressure, you've got to attack that pressure and try to score off it. Didn't handle it well the first time, handle it better the second time.
So both Garrity and Gooden playing in their second game in a Magic uniform. Both have 11 points. Kidd down low as Martin cuts to the rim. And a foul called here against Orlando.
And here's that pressure. They give it up to Garrity. See, he puts the ball on the floor there, and Kittles picks it off, leads to the Kidd bucket on the lay-in. A good job there, and then the Magic end up turning around against that same pressure, got it down along the baseline, and Garrity able to score down there.
The disparage between free throw shooting starting to lessen now as the Nets back to the strike. Martin now 8 of 11 at the free throw line. Second offering from Kmart falls through. And the Nets now to within 7 points, 69-62, under 8 minutes to play, third quarter. Here's Vaughn. Nets going to that trapping defense in the backcourt. And it pays off as Orlando turns it over. Vaughn shuffled his feet.
Well, Vaughn trying to beat the trap by himself, but Orlando also, as we get a look at great pressure. Richard Jefferson does a good job forcing him to the baseline, use that, to the sideline, use that as another defender, but they're not getting someone to rotate back to the middle to be a safety valve for that point guard.
Nets trailed by 11 at the intermission. Here's Kidd inside, leading in.
Tough shot.
And he banks it off the glass. And there was some contact, no call from the officials. But Doc Rivers wants to talk it over. Timeout Orlando. The Nets suddenly to within 5 points. "25 points for Kenyon Martin as he has spearheaded the Nets effort with some thunderous jams inside. Nets suddenly to within 5 points.
He hasn't had to add much to his repertoire. It's been basically via the dunk, but an outstanding job. Aggressive, high percentage shots, 8 of 10, 25 points. And the Nets, with a little bit of pressure, it's worked for him last couple of times down. They'll continue it.
And another turnover by Orlando, and Jefferson is able to capitalize.
Boy, they're doing a poor job against this Nets pressure, but hand it to the Nets. They're very aggressive with it.
So an 11-point Orlando lead at the half has dwindled down to 3 points.
Well, they're inbounding the ball to poor spots. You don't inbound the ball into the corner, you're susceptible to a steal, and that's what happened right there.
Problem with the far side shot clock. Nolan Fine coming over to blow the whistle. Conversing with his partner Ronnie Nunn. We are set to go. Game clock showing 7 minutes 18 seconds. McGrady inbounds to Gordon Garrity. Chance of defense here at the Meadowlands, and Jason Kidd steps into the passing lane. Kidd right down inside. Jefferson can't finish. Offensive rebound by Jason Kidd.
This is silly. The Nets are just picking apart with their pressure defense. This Orlando Magic team has had its trouble trying to get the ball over half court.
A 12-2 Nets run as this Orlando team has unraveled over the first 4+ minutes. 3 consecutive Orlando turnovers. And Jacques Vaughn misfiring way short. Collins the rebound. Kidd baseball pass up ahead for Jefferson. And Kidd gets it back and resets the net half-court set.
The momentum has definitely changed.
Here's Kittles at 3. And the Nets have taken a 2-point lead, 71-69. They have come storming back. And they've played less than 6 minutes.
They certainly got what they wanted out of it as Vaughn knocks down a 3 to quiet the crowd. You know, they initially were using that pressure defense just to buy some time maybe take some time off the clock and take away Orlando's opportunities at the half court, but all that turned into a bunch of steals, and the momentum shifted.
Good defense inside by Kemp as Barton unable to get a hand on it. Kidd's pass intercepted. Garrity thought about it, towing the three-point strike. Now weak side. McGrady turns and faces now on Kittles. And a foul called here against Kerry Kittles. Crowd again all over the officials. As we get some substitutions now, Armstrong and Gooden are inserted. Sean Kemp and Jacques Vaughn take a seat.
All the pressure defense has resulted in some great opportunities for the Nets offensively.
Shot clock down to 8. Gooden, turnaround jumper. And he swishes it home. Drew Gooden now with 13 points.
Doc Rivers just wanted his team to settle down, find their composure, and mainly get the ball across half court.
Orlando 2 games under the 500 mark at 27 and 29. Martin trying to answer. Baby hook shot short. Jason Collins gives the Nets a fresh 24. Jefferson out of Kidd along the wing. 13 on the 24. Under 5 minutes to play third quarter. Kidd left-handed pass down low, feeding Collins. And Jason Collins kisses it off the glass.
Collins made himself big inside. Did a good job of just using that body to gather and put it in.
First 2 points on the afternoon for Collins, but McGrady turns and answers quickly for Orlando. Tracy McGrady now 10 of 15 from the floor as he continues to spur this Magic offense. Dangerous pass by Kidd, finding Kittles. Now to Collins. Right back to Kittles on a gorgeous cut to the basket.
A lot more patience offensively. They're getting cutters. They're finding open men.
Here's T-Mac turning and facing on Martin. Now Kidd over on the help defense. And another foul as the Nets continue to throw double and triple teams at McGrady, but nothing is working right now. He has 28 points.
Well, they get Kidd here for the reach-in. You're right. There's 3 guys on McGrady, and it wasn't the block there on Martin. It was the reach-in by Kidd. And there's Drew Gooden last time down. I was worried about that.
He should take your advice.
Yep. You either have to glue that thing on or wear it around the neck.
Getting himself into trouble.
It's a blindfold there.
McGrady at the free throw line. Hearing it from the Meadowlands crowd. Strong arms to second, but the Clerk able to track down the offensive rebound. McGrady fires from 3.
Don't like that shot.
Under 4 minutes to play third quarter. Kidd finds Kittles. Now to Kenyon Martin. Here's Kittles at 3. Clangs off the heel of the rim, and Kidd tracks it down, right down the lane. Jason Kidd stripped, but he was also fouled on a reach-in.
Well, Collins made the play, though, because he was the one that kept it alive. Jason Collins making himself a nuisance on the offensive glass. There you see, he battles, and that little tip gave Kidd an opportunity.
Jason Collins making his presence felt on the glass. He has 4 rebounds, 2 offensive in this third quarter. Now some substitutions. Aaron Williams and Lucius Harris reinserted by Byron Scott. Collins and Kittles both sit down, and they get a nice round of applause from the Meadowlands crowd. Jason Kidd trying to tie this ball game at 77. Kidd just 5 of 13 from the floor, but he's now 4 of 4 at the strike. 15 points. And this game is tied at 77. It's the first tie of this afternoon. Orlando led by 11 at the break. Here's Gordon Giricek. Again, very aggressive with the basketball, able to put it on the floor and take it right to the rack.
He's recognizing that people are closing down on him, playing him very tight, and as a shooter, that's what you've got to be able to do, is put the ball on the floor, take it strong to the hole. He does that and gets 2 out of it.
And Kenyon Martin picks up his 4th personal foul. He may have to take a seat now as Still no player summoned by Byron Scott. Garrity sets himself. Second free throw is up and good. 13 points for Gordon Garrity, 26-year-old NBA rookie out of Croatia. Playing in his second game with this Orlando team. Kid trying to find Martin. Lost the handle momentarily. Martin double team. Back out to Kidd. Puts it on the floor. Around a screen. And Jason Kidd with his 6th field goal. He has 17 points.
He's raised the level of his play this third quarter, hasn't he?
He's tied the game at 79. Now McGrady turns around a double team. Up and under. Puts it down. And a foul.
Wow.
What a play by Tracy McGrady. Up and under. And he converts on a left-handed reverse play. A 2-point game here at the Meadowlands. 81-79. Jason Kidd, a subpar first half, just 2 of 10, 24 minutes complete. But Jason Kidd has answered. He has 10 points thus far in this third quarter and has yet to miss on 4 field goal attempts.
Everything got going once they started to pressure Orlando. That's where they got back in the ball game. And lately it's been back and forth. Tracy McGrady, just a fantastic effort now at the line to try to complete the 3-point play, and he does.
T-Mac has wowed this East Rutherford crowd. He now has 32 points to lead all scores. And more importantly, he extends the lead for the Magic to 82-79.
Still a little bit of matchup zone here by Orlando defensively.
Jefferson puts it on the floor. Across the lane, McGrady gets a hand on it. Shot clock does not reset, down at 2. And Lucius Harris converts. It's a 2-point field goal. And now a whistle by the far side referee. Apparently another problem with the game clock.
You saw Kidd take a little glance there as he comes up the loose ball and finds Harris. They're going to take 5 seconds, excuse me, off the shot clock here, trying to straighten out that mess.
Harris now with 13 points, 5 of 8 shooting. That's with Kidd, Harris, Martin, Richard Jefferson, and Aaron Williams. Orlando countering with Armstrong, Garrity, Andrew DeClercq, and Tracy McGrady. Garrity puts it on the floor right around Harris, and a tip in by Andrew DeClercq.
Garrity again, not afraid to go to the basket. And DeClercq, a good job for the offensive board.
Harris looking flat-footed on that sequence. The crowd wanted a goaltend there. Thought that DeClercq touched it over the cylinder, but nothing doing from the officials. 10 on the 24, under 2 to play, third quarter. Martin backpedals, falling away, swishes it home. Good-looking shot by Kenyon Martin. He's been hot all afternoon.
First time we've seen him on the outside. Really, he hasn't had to go out there.
Here's McGrady. They've been going back and forth. 27 for Kenyon Martin, 32 for T-Mac. Here's Kidd down the lane. Here's Williams, turnaround, left-handed baby hook shot, and Aaron Williams buries it.
Everybody seems to have picked up their offense a little bit. It's contagious, that little bit of extra effort has gotten it done here in the third quarter so far.
A back-and-forth game as the Nets retake a 1-point lead. Garrity, a 3-pointer, rims out. Aaron Williams, good position underneath. Now to Richard Jefferson. Here's Jason Kidd as we hit the 1-minute mark left in this third quarter. Williams right back. Consecutive buckets for Aaron Williams.
He has presented himself beautifully and become a spark for this offense. Aaron Williams playing good basketball.
Nets open up a 3-point lead. Excellent pass. T-Mac finding DeClercq down low.
That's what he's going to have to do, because now they know, the Nets do, that McGrady's going to try to get himself involved, and there's going to be double and triple teams, which means if you find an open spot on the floor, you're going to get the basketball.
Precise execution now on both ends of the floor for both teams. Here's Kidd, a 3-pointer. Bounds off the side of the rim. McGrady, look out in the open floor.
Kenyon Martin thought better of it. He knew McGrady was going to wait for him, try to get him on the hip if Kenyon challenged, but Kmart thought better of it. I think it was a wise decision.
This crowd just held his breath as McGrady just thought about what to do with that on the open floor. Williams leans in. A whistle stops play. A blocking foul against Andrew DeClerc. That's his 5th personal foul.
A long shot by Kidd. He's kicked out. And McGrady, you see, he's sensing, is he going to challenge? Is he not now? I'll just make it an easy dunk.
Martin thought about it. Should I try to get in there? And then he just backed off. How about McGrady's numbers? 12 of 19 from the floor. 34 points as Aaron Williams continues his solid play. Scalabrine reinserted. Kenyon Martin sits down with the 4 fouls.
I was going to say, that was the basic reason, was because he had the 4 fouls. Challenging McGrady, fouling him and picking up your 5th. He thought better of it.
That's an area where maybe Kenyon has matured a little bit over the last year or two. And Jacques Vaughn checks back in for Orlando. Aaron Williams, 2nd consecutive game in double-digit scoring. He now has 12 points and 14 Friday night in Washington. The Nets back up by 1. Down to the final 10 seconds. Shot clock turned off. Scalabrine over on the help defense. T-Mac has him now isolated. McGrady through the legs, right around Veal. Up and under, off the glass. Tracy McGrady.
5 guys that time.
Kid fires it up way short. And Tracy McGrady caps the 3rd quarter with another dazzling move to the basket.
Well, a big 39-point 3rd quarter for the Nets got them back in the ball game. They trail by 1, and that's only because of the play Tracy McGrady made at the end of the 1st quarter. They get a switch, and McGrady, he takes on all 5 Nets. Starts with Brian Scalabrine, and pretty much you're going to see 5 white shirts in your picture. He challenged them all, Spiro, and got it done. That was amazing.
Tracy McGrady, the NBA's leading scorer, putting on some kind of display. He has gone 33 of a possible 36 minutes. McGrady unselfish with it. Sets up Pat Garrity.
Well, he set up Garrity. Garrity actually mishandled the basketball for a second there, and that could have thrown off his timing. He regathered and able to knock down the jump shot.
And Orlando quickly pushes its advantage back up to 3 points. Kidd puts it on the floor. Left-handed dribble. Can't convert inside. Kidd trying to tip it home. Harris got a hand on it, and finally Garrity is able to rebound.
Again, crashing the board's important. Kidd has picked up his game tremendously. Might come down to the 2 superstars.
T-Mac lost the handle, got a bit sloppy with it.
Trying to do a little bit too much as far as off the dribble. Too much dribbling. T-Mac turns it over.
This Orlando team has shot 55% from the floor. Let's get a look at the turnover numbers. 12-8. A minute gone by in this 4th quarter. Harris from Scalabrine short on the 3. Richard Jefferson trying to go over the back of Armstrong. Last touched by New Jersey.
And these 2 teams don't turn it over much. Orlando 8th in the league, just 14 turnovers a game.
Nets and Orlando here at the Meadowlands. New Jersey, the number 2 team in the Eastern Conference. Orlando, 2 games under 500, currently in that number 8 slot. And Garrity now with consecutive buckets.
Well, they've gotten a shooter involved in the high screen and roll. They bring either Garrity or Garrity, and the Nets have switched up. And instead of a pick and roll, it's a pick and pop. It's worked for them last 2 times down.
Williams inside off the pass from Jason Kidd. And a double team, good help defense from the weak side, kind of threw Aaron off there.
And you get a look, see Garrity set the screen for McGrady, gets the pass, little ball fake and 1 dribble, knocks down the straightaway jump shot. Garrity is a shooter, and when you get a shooter involved in the screen and roll, particularly with a guy like McGrady who can create his own shot, puts a lot of pressure on that defense.
Pat Garrity in his 5th NBA season out of Notre Dame, 26 years of age. Was a teammate of Jason Kidd with the Phoenix Suns back in 1998. Nets 0 of 6 to start this 4th quarter. Shot clock down to 7. T-Mac sizing up Kenyon Martin, puts it on the floor. Now to Garrity. Jason Kidd gets a hand on it, comes up with the steal. Kidd 1-on-2. Up and under baseline, short, tries to follow. And Tracy McGrady comes up with it.
Lost the handle of it just for a second, and that threw off his timing.
Here's Garrity, a three-pointer. Pat Garrity starting to catch fire. The Nets would be wise to get someone on Garrity. A quick 7-0 run.
You know, Tracy McGrady continues to shine, and it hasn't just been about the scoring. A wonderful reverse there, but he's also created opportunities for his teammates. A nice dish to the clerk. And then T-Mac at the end of the quarter taking on 5 Nets ahead of the field. There's a reason why he's the league's leading scorer.
But it's been Pat Garrity over the last few minutes. A 7-0 Orlando run, and all of those points coming from Pat Garrity as the Magic do it there defensively.
Well, he's been able to find spots on the floor, get open looks, an excellent standstill shooter with great range.
Kickball there. Martin raising his left leg.
And they'll set that shot clock back to 14.
That's out of the timeout with Jefferson, Martin, Williams, Lucius Harris, and Jason Kidd. Orlando with Gooden, McGrady, Armstrong, Giricek, Pat Garrity. Magic trying to build on an 8-point lead. McGrady has 36, pulls up, shot clock down to 4, and he knocks it down.
And it seems like every time the Nets will put someone fresh on him, and it doesn't do any good.
Here's Williams, turnaround in the lane. And T-Mac doing it on the boards now.
Well, everything's going to be running through Tracy McGrady from here on in. You can bet on it.
McGrady right down the lane, challenging the Nets inside. And he will step back to the free throw line.
Well, he hasn't had very many opportunities to burst to the hole. And the last bucket, he just sized up Lucius Harris and shot over the top of him. Next time down, a little burst of speed. You can see the determination there as Williams puts a hard foul on him.
It's the only way to stop the guy, just stepping in and slapping his arm out of the way.
Well, great quickness again. This guy's not even 24 years old yet. He's not even as old as you.
Hey, watch it.
What'd you just turn 24?
This week.
Oh, tremendous. Oh, to be young. Spiro Ditas and Tracy McGrady. Never thought you heard those two names in the same sentence,
no,
huh?
I don't think I ever will again. Here's Kenyon Martin turning and facing, puts it on the floor. Kmart's been quiet the last few moments. And
that's
he misfires there.
Offense has been quiet, Spiro.
McGrady again, a three-pointer from Tracy McGrady.
He's got that feeling. He's got that feeling. Byron Scott wants another timeout. 14-0 this quarter. Magic offense.
Tracy McGrady has followed his 52-point outburst from Friday night with 43 points. And still over 8 minutes left to play, but Orlando has opened up a 15-point lead. Martin way short.
Spiro, not the shot they want. New Jersey really struggling offensively. They don't want Kenyon Martin taking jump shots. Orlando outscoring Nets 14-0 this quarter.
Giricek misfiring. Weak side, Karam collected in by Kmart.
Remember, it was 90-89 at the end of 3.
Harris misfires. The Nets have cooled off.
Settling for jump shots, too.
Trailed by 1 point heading into the final quarter. And they have yet to score here in the fourth.
I'll tell you what, Magic not helping themselves either. I wouldn't be settling for jump shots if I were them with a 15-point lead.
Jason Kidd trying to kickstart this Nets offense.
0 for 13 this quarter. Ouch.
Here's Aaron Williams. Shot clock winds down to 5 seconds. Jefferson into the corner. Harris, another open look for Lucius, short. And Gooden tips to his teammate Pat Garrity.
Now that's about as cold as you can get. Jersey offense 0 for 14 this quarter.
Very uncharacteristic play for the Nets on their home floor. Here's Garrity. He's been hot this quarter. Gooden tied up underneath. No call from the officials.
They've had 3 opportunities here with that 15-point lead and haven't taken advantage.
Cross-court pass. Harris to Jefferson. That's off the back of the rim. Drew Gooden the rebound. Nets now 0 of 14 in this fourth quarter.
Spiro, Byron Scott standing in front of us, just head down and shaking his head. Doesn't really have an answer for it. Orlando You know, for them as well, they need to take advantage of what the Nets have presented them.
Garrity, good pump fake down low, getting Martin up in the air. And that will be the 5th personal foul on Kenyon Martin. Kerry Kittles checks back in.
Good cut from Garrity there, excuse me, Spiro. And you see Martin flying over the top. Garrity wanted the 2 shots, didn't get it. Foul occurred on the floor, and you see Gordon Garrity.
Lucius Harris takes his seat. Byron Scott, sensing his team obviously in some trouble, is going to stay with Martin at 5 fouls.
No, he has no choice, really. It's been their offense this evening.
McGrady pulls up, and why not? Knocks it down from 24 feet out. McGrady now at 46.
You know, he gave his teammates opportunities to score during those last 3 possessions. He said, forget it. You guys had your shot. Give the ball back to me.
T-Mac with 10 straight points as Jason Kidd answers with a trifecta of his own.
Finally, someone makes a field goal for the Nets offense.
Jason Kidd now with 20 points, a quiet 20 tonight for Jason.
Now, there's still a lot of time, and the Nets have to get their offense going, but they also got to get their defense going.
Good defense there as McGrady was double teamed.
Martin's done. That'll be the 6th foul on Kenyon Martin. As we get a look at the last 3 from Tracy McGrady. On the rebound, Martin gets called for grabbing Drew Gooden, and he will foul out of this ball game. A pretty good afternoon from Kenyon Martin, though. 27 points, 5 boards. Kenyon Martin fouls out.
That's a crushing blow as you take another look at it.
Really see what occurred there, but the whistle was blown, unfortunately for Martin.
Jason Kidd poking that away. Good in finding Armstrong off the mark. Baseline jumper. Kidd trying to push tempo, but an ill-advised pass is intercepted by Armstrong.
It hasn't been fun for the Magic playing with the lead. They're going to try to use the clock, but they can't get too complacent. They have to continue to attack.
Garrity jump stop. Fadeaway jumper is short.
They haven't made many either.
Here's Kidd at 3 defenders draped on his back. That said, he's able to bank it home, and he'll have a chance at a 3-point play.
And he's going to try to do it himself. Timeout Orlando as Doc Rivers wants to gather the troops and talk about it a little bit. Hardest thing to do in the NBA is play with a big lead.
Nets will have to go the final 5:06 without Kenyon Martin, who's fouled out of this game. Martin, 27 points to lead the Nets. He has already racked up his 6th personal.
And he was a guy they were able to count on inside. They've been able to get quality shots and attack the rim with Kenyon Martin. Someone else is going to have to pick up the slack. Jason Kidd connects with the free throw, and we may also see some pressure here as the Nets go back to that.
Nets trying to force some steals here. McGrady has been unstoppable today. He has 46 worked around. Armstrong inside for Gooden. Turnaround jumper. And Drew Gooden. High percentage shots for him. He's now 4 of 7, 15 points.
Good ball movement that time in the sequence for the Orlando Magic. Swung around, and as you said, got a quality shot from Gooden down low.
And Gooden gets a hand up there.
That's
as he does it defensively.
You know, most guys give up on it. That's challenging, avoiding the contact and not giving up on the play. Nice defense from Gooden that time.
This Meadowlands crowd has grown very quiet now with Orlando in control, but Orlando turns it over. Now Kittles, Armstrong trailing. Kittles puts it down in a foul.
Now, bad decision there from Armstrong. You don't catch Kerry Kittles. And we know Armstrong is quick. Decides the foul as we get a look at the knockaway. And if you're going to foul, you got to make sure it's a hard foul, and he doesn't get the opportunity to shoot. But you see Kerry Kittles did a smart thing. He sensed where Armstrong was coming from, switched hands, and shot it with the left hand. Nice play from KK.
Well, an ill-advised decision by Armstrong, and Kittles makes him pay for it. And still 4:10 left to play.
There's still plenty of time.
An 11-point game. That's with Kittles, Harris, Jefferson, Kidd, and Aaron Williams. McGrady double team. Here's Garrity. Kidd picks him up on a switch. Now Jefferson guards McGrady. T-Mac double teamed around the perimeter. Garrity jump stop in the lane, knocks it down. Big shot from Gordon Garrity.
You got to trust your teammates as well, and certainly Tracy McGrady is growing in that trust. Guys like Garrity and Gooden coming through here lately, and Garrity for that fact.
Garrity and Gooden combining for 30 points today. Jefferson lost the handle momentarily. Shot clock down to 7. Jefferson blocked from behind by McGrady.
You get a good look at Garrity. Takes on the pressure, dribbles himself free, and then pulls up at a shorter distance.
Garrity played professionally last season in Russia. Shot clock down to 2. Aaron Williams had to force it up.
He had to shoot it.
Bottom line, Kelly, the Nets have been unable to stop this Orlando team. They've scored, but they've had no answer for that man. T-Mac turns, and a rare miss from McGrady. Kidd in the transition finds Kittles. His jumper rims out. Gooden trying to track it down. And Garrity saving it off the leg of Lucius Harris.
And I think that was just an opportunity by Garrity to keep it on the floor and hope that somebody was there with a white shirt, and it was. Lucius Harris went off his leg. Great hustle. Yeah, he doesn't know he's there. That's just throwing it back on the floor, and that could have been dangerous because you're throwing it back into your opponent's territory. That's what makes him so smart, by the way.
That Notre Dame education coming through for him.
Well, you mean that's what we learned when we played out there. I'm not sure those guys at Fordham knew that.
Oh, that's uncalled for right there.
Oh, yeah, but I can say that. I had a brother that went to Fordham, so.
Okay. I'll accept it then.
Still love the chant. Let's go Fordham. They're not saying that very often these days, though, huh? Struggle.
Tough times at Roseville. Orlando inbounding now as we're under 3 minutes to play. Fourth quarter. Orlando with the basketball in control. They lead by 13 points.
They got Armstrong in the game to dribble against pressure, and then they give it off to Tracy McGrady and say, here, make something up.
T-Mac runs clock. Garrity left wide open.
It's the wrong guy to leave open. They catch a break there as he rims it.
Kidd pull up three-pointer. Bounds off the side of the rim. Kidd trying to follow his own miss.
You can sense Jason just, trying to do whatever is necessary to pull out a win, but I'm not sure he can pull this one out all by himself.
It's in danger of dropping just their 4th home game on the season. They're 25-3 here at the Meadowlands. Good for the best home record in the NBA. Now Darrell Armstrong inside for Drew Gooden. Catches and fires very quickly on the turnaround.
Well, he rushed it. He had Kittles on him and settled there for an off-balance jump hook.
Jefferson inside, unable to get the roll. And Drew Gooden has picked up his 6th and final foul, so Gooden is out of this ball game.
Well, Jefferson does a good job of throwing his body at Gooden, challenging him, and certainly Doc Rivers and his Orlando Magic don't want to put fouls up on the board, number one, and certainly don't want to give the Nets opportunities at three-point plays. They were fortunate there. The ball came out. Instead, Richard will have to settle for 2 free throws as Gooden will sit out with 15 points.
Gotta like what Gooden brings to this team as he fouls out. His final line, 15 points, 34 minutes. Gooden 7 of 11 at the free throw line to go along with his 6 rebounds.
I can tell already that he's going to help this team. The 2 guys are. Garrity, same thing. It's going to be a good trade for Orlando. Well, Tuesday night, the Nets are back on. Yes, they travel to Cleveland to take on the Cavaliers. Complete coverage begins at 6:30 with Fred Hickman and the Nets pregame. Then you can join Ian Eagle and me for all the action starting at 7 for the NBA's best. It's nothing but Nets. Tuesday night starting at 6:30 only on Yes.
Free throw is good from Richard Jefferson. Nets down to within 11 points. But they're running out of clock. Under 2 minutes to play in regulation.
Yeah, they almost need a stop every time down. They don't get one as Vaughn cuts through the middle and McGrady finds him.
2-man game between T-Mac and Jacques Vaughn. Now with 9 points.
13 assists is what I wanted to say for McGrady. Not a bad night, huh?
Jason Kidd quickly answers. Nets need a bunch of points here down the stretch, but again, their defense has been very faulty this afternoon. Unable to get stops when necessary. Armstrong breaks that light full court pressure.
And I think that you're right. You brought that up earlier, and that's really been the difference in the game, is the inability to slow down this Magic offense. They've been able to get whatever they want.
Here's Garrity, a three-pointer from the corner, short.
Don't need it.
Doc Rivers telling his players to run down the clock, but Garrity forces. Kidd, though, is unable to convert on the three-pointer.
Do it. Approaching 1 minute to play, and McGrady and the Magic will use pretty much the entire clock and whatever remaining possessions they have.
Tracy McGrady just 1 rebound shy of a triple-double. Pulls up off the side of the rim. And we're under 50 seconds left. Byron Scott signals for a timeout. Nets facing a 10-point deficit. Well, the most points the Nets have allowed on their home floor this season, 118 against the Sacramento Kings, a game that was really lopsided in the final score. Nets have been much more competitive today as we take a look at the leaders in home win percentage on the season. The Nets 25-3, but on their way to picking up that 4th loss here on their home floor.
Well, it's been a struggle since post-All-Star game. The Nets 3-5 now, if counting this loss as well, and been a couple of tight ones as well. Just not playing well. They're not shooting the ball well. They've been turning the ball over, and teams are starting to read situations. And it's been a little bit of a struggle as far as the energy is concerned.
Lucius Harris pulls up, elbow jumper. Aaron Williams.
Triple-double with that rebound, I believe. Tracy McGrady, right. 46 points, 13 assists, and 10 rebounds.
He's had a nice 2-game stretch. He had 52 Friday night, 46 points against the Nets today. Pulls up over Anthony Johnson. Was some contact on the play, but the officials taking mercy on the Nets here in the final seconds. Jefferson down to 9 seconds as the crowd continues to file out. Anthony Johnson down the lane. And it's a formality at this point as the Orlando Magic ride the coattails of Tracy McGrady, the NBA's leading scorer. A dazzling effort today by T-Mac.